Hello again. Okay, let me go through the slides that we discussed during the class. And of course, I don't want you to just follow the slides letter for letter because strategy is a thinking subject. And I hope that you will be able to take out from this module better strategy thinking skills which you can apply to your organization or company. So welcome to this module. The competencies and learning areas for MBA 3308, as I've interpreted the syllabus, are to talk about strategy position. Any organization must know where you are before you can decide where you want to go and how you want to go. In fact, that's how some textbooks define strategy. It's about answering the three questions: where we are, where we want to go, and how we want to get there. So, where we are is about strategic position. How we can possibly go to where we want to go and how we can go there is about strategic choices. And then the rollout of the how is called strategy implementation. I've also included an additional component for our discussion, and that is world-class business strategy. So this is why I want to specifically include a session of discussion on blue ocean strategy and other related areas. 6 key topics which I think we will need to know so that we satisfy the requirements of your syllabus as well as learn some good strategy. Firstly, of course, to understand strategy, then to understand how you measure strategic position. So there's a specific tool which I'm going to show you. Then we will talk about strategy, purpose, decision, and tools. We will go on to talk about strategy implementation, where I will upload slides of specific models, easy models that you might use so that when you want to implement strategy, you actually have a plan, you actually have a framework. We will talk about mergers and acquisitions and global strategy in preparation for your specialization of the 2 units that you are going to be handling in this round. Then we will finish off by looking at certain ideas on blue ocean strategy and world-class strategic decision making. To introduce strategy, I think the first thing we need to understand is what is the business environment in which a company works. This is actually very well explained in one of the recommended textbooks, Exploring Strategy, Text and Cases, which is written by Jerry Johnson and a few others. It's a Pearson publication and it's a pretty easy read. And if you are one who prefers easy reads, then this is the book to get. Another book that is a little more technical, of course, is Crafting and Executing Strategy, and that is like the Bible, if you like, of strategy, written by Thompson, Strickland, Gamble, and a few others. So these are the books that you want to add to your library. Why do we need to understand our environment? Why do we need to understand our environment on an ongoing basis? That is because, strategy experts have found out that the world's moving faster, which is not really rocket science. And because it is moving faster, strategy is not static, it is dynamic. That means today's leaders must abandon yesterday's beliefs even faster than ever before, firstly. Secondly, because strategy is dynamic, you must review what you are doing. And they have found that review is the poorest performing area in the strategy implementation for many organizations. So perhaps you want to pause the video here and then write down in your own words, what do you think strategy is? Well, I hope you wrote things like asking the right questions, where we are now, where we want to go, how we're going to get there. I hope you talked about strategy being the long-term direction of the organization, um, putting the organization's activity into a proper scope, trying to gain advantage over competitors, addressing changes in the business environment, building on resources and competencies, and of course, not forgetting the values and expectations of stakeholders, which pretty much determine a lot of things that a company does. So you will find that when we talk about strategic decision making, these decisions are probably going to be very complex, not simple, because there are many matters that you need to take into consideration. And they relate to the future. And because they relate to the future, there is a fair amount of uncertainty there. Of course, they affect all operational decisions and they require an integrated approach both inside and outside an organization. And as I suggested to the class, when you look at the internal environment, you are looking at strengths and weaknesses. When you look at the external environment, you should slice it up into two parts. You have the micro external environment and the macro external environment. The micro external environment is also called meso environment in some books or in some literature. So there are actually three layers of environment that you have: internal environment, micro external environment, and macro external environment. The internal environment is, of course, your strategic decisions that you are taking internally. Micro external environment is actually where your customers are, where your competitors are, where your supply chain operates. So that is why the micro external environment is where most of strategic thought must be focused, because that is where opportunities are found and threats are identified. As far as macro environment is concerned, it is more concerned with the environment of the regulators, of the government, of the region, of the free trade agreements that you might find, of things and stuff happening in other parts of the world that have impact on you, and very often are not within the control of a single company. So therefore, the real focus of strategy should be to make decisions and choices today that will have an impact on your business from today until the long term in the internal as well as the micro external environment. That's how it works. So also, when you look at the internal environment, you can talk about strategy at the corporate level, the whole organization, or if you already are or will be in the future a departmental head responsible for the performance of a specific part of the organization, you would be said to be responsible for an SBU, strategic business unit. That's a business level strategy decision making process, or it can just be operational, a short-term thing, a strategy as to which supplier to choose. That's operational. A strategy as to which product to emphasize on. That is a SBU level. A strategy as to whether you want to expand or grow or diversify. Well, that's a corporate level strategy decision. Some keywords for you to remember, and I hope you will go through your slides once again to think about these words. And it would be a good idea if you can use these words in a sentence to yourself to explain what strategy is all about. Okay, let's talk about strategic position. This is established based on the business environment that an organization or company works in. It is based on capabilities. Capabilities are of two types. They are resources and core competencies. So there's a specific meaning for strategic capability. Strategic capability has two components. One, resources, and the other core competencies. Then of course purpose. Purpose is basically another word for your mission statement. why the company or organization is in existence, and culture. Strategic position depends pretty much on this. In fact, strategic progress depends pretty much on this too. How do we make strategic choices? Well, we look at the choices from business, corporate, international areas. We use innovation, and where we don't have our own innovation, we need to go and buy innovation. How can you buy innovation? Well, you can buy it through acquisitions and sometimes alliances. Alliances simply mean that you are buying into the talent of another organization. Maybe not 100% like in a takeover, but an alliance means that you're willing to take a smaller piece of a bigger cake. Now that's strategic choice. And then of course there's strategy implementation, which we will be looking at through the case study and materials that I will put up for you for your online learning. So I hope that you will enjoy the reading on evaluating new opportunities, implementing processes, organization structures, driving change, and balancing the scorecard. I would like to talk a bit about the scorecard. Well, you see, the way you should look at strategy within your organization works like this. You start off with your vision or mission. All strategy starts off with vision and mission. A definition of vision, a working definition can be where we want to be in the future, how we want the world to see us. That's our vision. What type of company should we be? What type of organization should we be? So basically, vision is where you want to go, and mission is how you're going to get there. What are the competencies that you are going to build in order to go there? What are the values that you are going to take to go there? Now, you may find that some authors or some articles actually start off their discussion on strategy with mission, because they define mission as the purpose of why this organization exists. What are we here for? What is the value that we are going to bring to the marketplace? Why we should exist at all? Whatever your preference, the important thing is all of strategy starts with vision and mission. Now, vision statements are often crafted in a manner that is designed to encourage activity, designed to inspire. Mission statements are designed to set corporate focus. But if you really want to drill down to what is the most beneficial thing to do, you have to take the vision and mission statement and convert it into destination statements. These destination statements are basically long-term goals, and these long-term goals are then broken up into key result areas. The key result areas, I suggested 4 in the class. People talk about key result areas of brand, process, operations, people, finance, marketing. Very often in practice, we suggest to client companies that brand and operations should be one key result area because they work together. Brand is the vision that people have about you in their mind. Now that vision was formed because you gave them a value proposition. That means brand is based on a promise. Operations is the delivery on that promise. So this is why modern strategy consultants nowadays suggest that brand and operations should be combined together. Then of course, you have marketing. Well, marketing, sales and business development tend to go together. Yeah. So I could put here marketing, sales and business development. All three come together. All three come together. Then of course we have the finance. finance people are also often responsible for process. Yeah. Let me get this right. Finance. Well, there you go. Finance and process. And then, of course, you have the people sector. And all of these are often defined as key result areas. From these key result areas, we identify key business objectives that will actually then cascade down to KPIs. And finally, only when a company knows what are its key business objectives in the key result areas should it establish its KPIs, key performance indicators. Only when it knows what its key performance indicators are, it should start its budgeting process. So, you could say that strategy starts with vision and mission and is finally rolled out through the budgets. The reality of life is that many companies prepare budgets without reference to vision or mission at all. And this is what we hope you will be able to do when you become good to great managers by taking into account the overall strategic thrust of your organization when you plan your budgets. Your vision and mission must be converted to destination statements. This must be converted to key result areas which are defined in specific key business objectives. Key business objectives are measured using key performance indicators which then are translated into your budgets, your annual budgets. Well, that's one video for you.